Hello everyone, we are starting the course today, and today's course we are going to start from the OSI model. So, what is OSI model? In the beginning, when the internet was new and people started creating networks, let's say Japanese created a network according to their own rules, what they thought it was possible, and later let's say United States also created a network according to their own rules. And in the future, it came a time that this network should intercommunicate, and there was a problem. Hence, a government body came out and gave out a new rule which applies globally on how networks should be built. This rule is called the Open System Interconnect Model, or the OSI model. And in the OSI model, we have 7 layers. The first layer is our physical layer, and the second is the data link. We have network layer, or layer 3. We have layer 4, which is our transport layer. We have layer 5, which is our section layer. We have presentation layer and application layer. And this course has been broken down according to the OSI model, with the exception of section and presentation layer. So, as a network engineer or somebody who is willing to pass his CCN exams, just follow us in this course, because we are going to break down these layers into details. So, for no wasting time, let's look at the physical layer. When you hear physical layer in the OSI model, the physical layer means devices that can be touched. And somebody will ask, say, we can touch a router. So is a router not a physical layer device? The answer is, if I say a device works at a physical layer, what I mean is it works only at a physical layer. When you take a router works at a network layer, data link layer, then the physical layer. So, if you take a router, it works the network layer, data link layer, and what? Physical layer. But if you take a device like a hub or a repeater, it only works at the what? Physical layer. So, the physical layer deals with stuff that you can touch. For example, a cable. And in the physical layer, the protocol data unit at that area is electrical signals. It's only electrical signal that is passing through the cable. It's bits that is passing through the cable. So, for no wasting time, in the physical layer, we have 3 devices that work at the physical layer. And the first device is our cabling. We have a repeater and a hub. So, what cables work at the physical layer? We have our first cable, which is our XBASET cable. And this XBASET cable works at a physical layer. And we have a serial cable and again a rollover cable. So in this CCN course, there are a lot of cables, but in this CCN course, we are going to take only 3 cables. That's the XBASET cabling, the serial cable, and the rollover cable or console cable. So let's look at XBASET cabling. The XBASET cabling is also known as Ethernet cable. The X in the XBASET stands for the speed of the cable. So if the X is number 10, that means the cable can transmit up to 10 megabytes per second. And if the number in the X is 100, that means the cable can transfer up to 100 megabytes per second. The same way, if the number in the X can transfer is like 1000, the cable can transfer up to 1000 megabytes per second. The base in the XBASET stands for baseband signaling, which means there can only be one signal at a time in the cable. The opposite is broadband. which also means there can be a multiple signal at a time in the cable. In the XBASET, the T stands for twisted pair. That means 8 wires or 4 wires has been twisted together to form that cable. So we have category 5, category 6, category 6A. The difference is that Cat 5 have more twists than Cat 3. So what is the benefit of the twist? More twist means you have more copper, and more copper means you have a cleaner signal. And now XBASET cabling comes in different flavors. They can be straight through or crossover. For the purpose of this CCNA course, what you should have to remember is device types that uses crossover are like device types, and unlike device types uses straight through. So end hosts like computer to a switch, you are going to use a straight through, and a switch to a switch, you are going to use crossover. Now let's say a PC to a router, you are going to use a crossover. Now let's look at the types of XBASET cabling that we have. There are two types of XBASET cabling, and the first cable is unshielded twisted pair. It is a twisted pair cabling that is normally used in offices. And the second cable type that we have is shielded twisted pair, and it uses at a place where there is electromagnetic interference. Now every devices that runs electric current through them, like a refrigerator, air conditioner unit, microwave, produce electromagnetic fault. So if you run unshielded twisted pair behind them, you might have a signal degradation. Your signal is going to be degraded, meaning your signal might not be clean and pure. Hence, shielded twisted pair is a cable you must use. Okay, now let's look at our serial cabling. When you take the serial cable is connected on the serial port of a router. So between a router and another router, you are going to use a serial cable. Yeah, a router and a router, you are going to use a serial cable. So let's look at the last cabling type that we are going to look in this course. The last cabling type that we are going to look is our rollover or our console cable. Now, from the console port of your Cisco device to the communication port of your PC, you are going to use a console cable. This cable is directly connected to your router's console by using a terminal emulation program called PARI, and immediately you will see that you are on console. This concludes the cable type for this course. The next device that works at the physical layer that we are going to look is our hub. Then we move to a repeater, and we are done for the physical layer. So join me. Nice to meet you, and stay with me. Bye.